Hey everybody, Ed Lane here from Hometown Advisor Real Estate. Most of you know me as one of the top REO brokers in the state of Washington, highest producer for several of the last 10 years. I am putting together this video for my asset managers because I want to give you an update on what's going on here in the marketplace and what we're anticipating so that you can make better decisions on pricing your assets, preparing your assets for sale, and then negotiating when buyers do come along. So let me start by describing what the current situation is. We are under a stay home, stay healthy order from the governor. So it is statewide. There are essential and non-essential businesses, just like in many of the states around the country. So let me just describe specifically what they've decided for real estate. So initially, the stay home order was for 2 weeks, starting on March 25th at midnight, and was supposed to run for 2 weeks. After just a couple days, he started making noises like that was not going to be enough. And sure enough, 1 week into it, he extended it to May 4th. So as of right now, we're under a stay home, stay healthy order until May 4th. And initially, real estate and real estate brokers were deemed non-essential. There was a huge backlash. We wrote several emails ourselves to the governor's office just to point out to him that people literally were going to be homeless. We had clients within our firm who were selling properties out of state and moving to Washington, but we couldn't even show them houses to help them get into those properties. So they, in about 48 hours, switched us from non-essential to essential. There was some nuanced differences over the coming days after they made that decision. Things like initially not allowing photography, not allowing stagers and movers, and some of the more ancillary businesses that support our industry. And they finally came around to all that as well. An interesting side note that does affect you if you're one of my asset managers is initially construction was deemed essential and then it was moved to non-essential. So at this point, all construction work, unless it's emergent, is not considered essential and therefore not allowed. So there are definitely some contractors out there that are kind of trying to do work on the down low, but unless your property is susceptible to the weather, i.e. you're building a house and it's not buttoned up to the elements, that would be considered emergent, but otherwise none of that is. Now, what is all of this economic flux doing for our valuations? Well, you're already seeing, if you've gotten any BPOs from me in the last couple of weeks, you're already seeing me say things like the economy is slowing down. You're seeing things like inventory is still low and thus prices have not started to rise, but we're still seeing a decline overall in the marketplace. So my hope is, knock wood, but I want to see prices maintain and sustain their level. We are seeing appreciation slow down, but we have not seen it turn into depreciation. And we're hopeful that that won't happen, but we just don't know. It all depends on whether the quarantine gets lifted on May 4th or not, things like that. Now, what is all this going to do to the REO inventory? Well, it's going to go up. I think most people would agree that we are going to see more distressed properties in the coming months and through the end of the year and into next year. You can't help but see defaults increase when you have unemployment go from 3% to 15% almost overnight. We at last count, in fact, the new numbers will be coming out tomorrow, but just in the last 3 weeks, we saw unemployment claims go from 200,000 a week to 17 million in the last 3 weeks. We had 3.6, 6.3, and 6.6, I believe, million. So a lot of people out of work. A lot of people are going to be unable to make their payments. We are in a 60-day freeze on foreclosures and evictions, but we're halfway through that now, and it may get extended, but we're still going to see an increase in foreclosures. Now, having said all that, we also are going to see a lot less of an increase than we did in 2007, 8, and 9, because we do have a more swifter action by the government and more swifter action by the servicers. So we didn't have Fannie and Freddie claiming that you could do 12 months forbearance without impacting your credit. That's a first time in history kind of thing. So that's going to help some folks not lose their homes to foreclosure. Now, I have to qualify that statement because in the end, it's up to the servicers, not Fannie and Freddie. So we've already polled about a half dozen servicers, some of the larger ones, companies like B of A, Wells Fargo, Nation Star, Mr. Cooper, that sort of level of servicer, which are huge, and none of them are offering 12 months forbearance. So just because Fannie and Freddie say it doesn't make it so, right? The other thing you have to be aware of, if you're watching this video and you're a homeowner, be very cautious about forbearance because every lender will have a different approach to how they handle it. And even every loan product within a lender could have a different way that they approach it. And so you need to call your lender specifically and you need to tell them what loan program you're on so that they can give you a more direct answer. And then when you talk to them, make sure you know, okay, if I forbear, when are you going to ask me to pay that back? Because Fannie and Freddie's directive says it just gets tacked on to the end of your 30-year mortgage. That's not what we saw when we polled those servicers I'm telling you about. Most of them said, yeah, we'll let you forbear for 3 months, and then at the end of that period, you got to pay us back. Well, if I miss my May, June, and July payment, that means in August, I got to pay those 3 payments plus August. So that's 4 payments. And what's the statistical probability I'm going to be able to do that, right? So it's really important that you ask the right questions and you understand fully. Now, all of that is good things that will reduce the total and overall volume of foreclosures and defaults, but it's still going up. So if that's what you see happen and you're an asset manager and you would like to connect with the #1 REO broker in the state, I would be happy to help you. I'm also more than happy to do second opinion BPOs, occupancy checks, whatever you need. We are very well equipped to do it. We've been doing it for decades. We have a team. We have a general contractor on staff, so we know how to bid all the work. We know valuations and we know how to get properties sold. Our average listing sells almost 60% faster than our competition, and it sells for 4.7% more money. So we get you more money faster, period. If you have any other questions, you can go to my website, realestateanswersguru. And other than that, forgive the casual nature of my setting, but working from home because we are complying with the federal government or the state government's requirements. So that's it. Take care. If you have any questions, you can always reach me, ed.lane@hometownadvisorre.com, or just submit a question through realestateanswers.guru, or catch me on social media. On Instagram, I am at Mr. Ed Lane. That's it. Take care.